discussing politics and, of course, your aspirations, wanting to become the governor of Ogun State. First of all, can you define, or let's talk about what politics means to you?
According to Harold Laswell's definition of politics, politics is who gets what, when, and how. Basically, the way politics is being practiced in the country is not really the way politics should be practiced. It's not about violence. It's not about aggression and lack of care for the people. Basically, politics is a multifaceted word. It encompasses care for the people and the love for them. So I believe that's what is paramount. The care for the people is what's paramount, and that's what politics should entail.
Okay, you are a captain. Are you working as a captain, a pilot?
Yes, I used to fly as a captain. I was in the aviation industry as an employee, a pilot, for 30 years. Wow.
So and now you want to become. Can we talk about your aspirations, wanting to become the governor of Ogun State?
My aspiration of wanting to become the governor of Ogun State came from care for the people. In my 30 years of flying, I was mostly outside of my state, outside Nigeria. And every time I came back, I realized that the system was actually going backwards instead of going forward, especially in infrastructure in my state. If you go to some areas in Ogun State, you will see that in the last 8 years, there hasn't been anything done about infrastructure. And especially the roads, they are all in a state of collapse. And you find out that the healthcare sector is not looked after. In the Ogun State budget of 2018, only 6.13% of that budget was allocated to the health sector, which I think is a little too small. Okay. The population of Ogun State is 57 million. And to cater for 57 million people with 21 billion naira is quite, it's just like a drop in the ocean. Okay. A healthy society is a productive society, and I believe we need to look after our health. Okay. Ogun State has a huge population of elderly people and a very high population of young people also. The young can look after the elderly, but we have to empower them. We have to train them to be healthcare professionals so that they can look after the old. If you go around my state, you'll see a lot of primary healthcare centers that are not functional. So what the manifesto of my party, Action Democratic Party, has in store for the people is to look after their health, to empower the youth, to make sure that we alleviate poverty by giving the youth a lot of jobs and housing also, and grassroots empowerment. Okay. We would establish a lot of training institutes, entrepreneurial training institutes in Ogun State when we come into power from 2019, and we'll make sure we'll empower youth to be able to work and feed their own people and look after them.
Okay, so what are your plans? Let's talk about empowering of youths. Of course, you made a point that when you empower the youths, they are the ones who look after the elderly. But we have lack of jobs for the youths. What measures would your party, in case you become the governor, take to provide jobs for the youths?
Now, the current governments in power are claiming that Ogun State is the most industrialized state in Nigeria. But if you go to where most of those industries are located, you'll find out that the infrastructure there is broken down. I went to one of the factories and they were full of complaints of losing material to road accidents and stuff like that, raw materials, basically. Apparently that reduces their amount of production. And if they cannot produce enough, then they'll be losing revenue. They cannot get a good return on their investments. So for them to actually employ a lot of youth will be very difficult. There's a particular factory in Ogun Waterside. It's to the production of paper. But as we speak, the factory has died down completely. It was sold out to an investor during the last regime, and apparently nothing has happened there up till now. But if you look at the statistics, Nigeria imports 57.8 billion naira worth of paper per annum. If we can resuscitate that factory and they produce paper for the whole of Nigeria, that's, even if we're getting 40 billion naira as revenue, we'll be able to put it in other sectors and to create institutions to help our youth.
With all your plans and aspirations, what are your chances in winning this election?
I believe my party has the pedigree to be able to come tops in the upcoming elections. The party is regarded as a credible alternative. It encompasses a lot of people of high integrity. So, and they have a few programs in their manifesto that will be looked after by the government when we come into power. I would like to mention some of the programs.
Okay,
they have 5 cardinal points programs: poverty alleviation, youth empowerment, women empowerment, and grassroots development, and utmost attention to pensioners. If you look at Ogun State today, you would realize that a lot of pensioners are not paid their dues. A lot of them go to collect their dues and they die on the queue.
That's not only
Ogun State, yes. And the government will pay attention to that. We'll make it a matter of attention so that we'll make sure our pensioners are paid on time. And teachers also, Ogun State will be looked after because from my findings, I realized that teachers have not been paid their dues in the last 8 months. And we'll make sure, and a teacher that has not been empowered cannot empower other people.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that our teachers are paid on time, and so that they can turn out good students.
There's one point in sharing your aspirations and your plans, and when you become the governor,
Yes.
if you do not fulfill these plans and goals or aspirations, who do we hold credible? Because there's no government that comes into power that doesn't promise all these beautiful things that but at the end of the day, you just said you're owing 8 months. No government will come in to say, I'm going to owe teachers 8 months. What is happening?
Exactly.
If you come in, what are the checks, and how would people hold you credible for these promises you made?
What we are going to do is we're going to generate internal revenue without actually taxing the people.
How?
Yes. We're going to ensure that the factories that are operating in Ogun State, they pay their dues properly, and we will use that to enhance other sectors in the state. Now, concerning healthcare, we'll make sure that we improve there are a lot of health facilities in Ogun State, but they are not well equipped. So what our government is going to do is to enhance their operations by equipping them with professionals and equipment.
Okay.
Like the primary health care centers, they are in the rural areas, just for health to be able to reach the people in the rural areas. But nothing gets there because those places are not manned, and they don't have medication, they don't have equipment. So we will make sure that we pump enough funds into that so that we can have a healthy state polity.
Okay, can you tell us one unique thing about Ogun State?
If you take the statistics of people that pass through Ogun State, you would realize that all the other states put together don't receive as many visitors. Some of them just pass through, some stay in Ogun State. And that's why Ogun State is a unique tourist destination. And that's why Ogun State is going to invest in a unique way in our tourist sites. We are culturally rich too. We have a lot of cultural displays like the Ojude Oba, the Alagebo, and the Egungun Festival in Abuja, and the Drum Festival also. So we are going to use all that to attract investment into the state, to attract tourists into the state, such that we'll be generating revenue from there also. Ogun State is uniquely rich if one looks at all the demographics of Ogun State, you will see that it's one of the richest states in Nigeria. And they can generate internal revenue without actually taxing the people, like I said earlier.
Thank you so much for being part of DatelineAbuja, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, I've been talking to Captain LADI ODULAJA, the governorship aspirant under ACTION Democratic Party of Ogun State. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.